right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. And today, I just want to go into, a clip from Metro Detroit News about a particular incident, that took place, the other night, and I'm just specifically bringing this one out, for edification purposes. So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. So I'm just going to play the clip. I ain't going to play the audio, but I'm going to read what it says. It says, a man is dead after an officer-involved shooting on Detroit's west side. The incident occurred on Southfield Service Drive in Finkel in Detroit. Officer observed a vehicle that did not use a turning signal while turning, and that is when they conducted a traffic stop. The driver did not have a license, so the officer tried to take him out of the car. A struggle ensued, and the officer was dragged about 20 feet. The officer's partner attempted to use his taser, but it didn't work. The driver then dragged the officer again, and that is when shots were fired. The driver was transported to a hospital where he was pronounced deceased. A Glock with a switch was located inside. So I'm bringing this particular article out, because yesterday, received a phone call from my cousin, which, I don't really deal with my family like that, but he called me yesterday while I was at work, and I'm not going to say the dude's name, or put up a picture of him, just out of, respect for his family, but my cousin called me yesterday, he said, yo, you heard the news? I'm like, what news? Such and such died, yesterday. And I'm like, well, no, I didn't know that. He was like, well, yeah, something had happened, over in this particular area. So I told him, oh, yeah, well, I seen it on, the news. I'm thinking it was just, another person, just another person, because, a lot go on in Detroit, man. Just like, a lot goes on in every other city, but, a lot be happening. And this is probably like, one of the most recent police shootings that happened, in the city. But he told me, like, yeah, well, such and such died, something like that. Well, I'm probably going to go to the funeral. And it's okay, cool. Well, I'm not going to go. So just real quick before I go into it a little further and bring out the scriptures, man. So I'm just going to go into this article real quick, just for those that don't know what a switch is, man. So it says, this is an article from the Columbus Dispatch. It says, is a Glock switch illegal? Here's what you need to know about how. It's like, here's what you need to know about the devices. So as you can see, this little box right here with the button on it. I'm just going to read a little bit. It says, a tiny device has been pumping up on Columbus streets, and law enforcement's fear it may pose an outsized risk to Central Ohioans this summer. Glock switches have surged in popularity among Columbus criminals really everywhere, and police report they're finding them more and more. The devices can transform a semi-automatic handgun into a fully automatic weapon, which is an illegal modification. And indeed it is, man. Pretty much people all over the country have these devices, man. So pretty much explain what it did, but I'm just going to read a little more. It says, what does a Glock switch do? A Glock switch is a small gadget that can be attached to the back of certain handguns, usually Glocks. According to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, the ATF, a typical handgun can fire one bullet for every pull of a trigger, but on a gun modified with a switch, a shooter can simply hold down the trigger. that essentially makes the firearm a machine gun, a weapon that has been banned. It's like a weapon that was banned decades ago in the U.S. Yeah, man, machine guns are illegal in the U.S. unless you have an FFL, but that's a different topic for a different day. So I'm just gonna jump down to this. This is the main point I want to bring out about this. It says, someone caught with a Glock switch can face up to 10 years in prison if prosecuted at the federal level. The penalty can vary widely throughout. It's like the penalty can vary widely, though various cases show. So that's all I'm going to bring out on that. So anyone that is caught in possession of one of these devices, automatically is going to get 10 years in prison. So pretty much the Jake that was killed, man, I knew this Jake. Now, I'm not saying I was super close with him, but, I knew him. He was a young dude, you know what I'm saying? Went to school with him. I know his brother. I went to school with his brother. And again, I wasn't super close with him, but you know what I'm saying? I knew him. My cousin knew him, and, all I'm going to say is Jake, he wasn't living his life right, man. He wasn't. He was in the streets, doing what he was doing, doing witchcraft, so we already know, selling dope. Only know this because one of the last times I was around him, just happened to, because I was visiting, my grandmother, and I was with my cousin. He was at his house, and again, I don't hang around these type of people, that do these particular activities. But, Jake, just to sum it up, man, Jake wasn't living right, man. He wasn't. And then, he was also a rapper. Now, even though Jake, wasn't right, he was talented. I give him that. He was talented. He could rap real good, man. But, I didn't really listen to his music like that either, because again, he's, rapping about what Jake rap about now, man. Murder rap, selling dope, and doing all this. I don't be wanting to hear all that, man. But I'm just bringing this up for edification purposes, man. Because once he told me that, I was just like, wow. Instantly my reaction just like, he was judged, man. Because the Lord ain't playing with nobody, man. The Lord ain't playing with nobody, especially his own people, because 2/3 are wicked, man. So I ain't gonna ramble too much. I'm gonna start in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 39. And it says, see now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And yeah, man, the Lord is the one that orchestrates these things, man. Because at the end of the day, our lives are written, man. And that's one scripture, Salaki, because I have my scripts written down, for this particular lesson. And that's one thing I forgot to mention, write down, but I'm going to bring it out. But the Lord is the one that does all these things, man. Because what the Christian church wants you to believe is that, well, Satan did that. No, man. That's clear. That the Lord does these things, man. He does these things. He is the Father of spirits, man. So like, yeah. All right, Slock. There's the book of Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? See it, man. Pretty much our lives are already written. They were already, predestined from the beginning, from each, time period that we were alive. Because again, reincarnation is a real thing, and we were all here, multiple times upon the earth, and pretty much that was pretty much just Jake's judgment to be, shot down by the police, this particular night, man, because we don't know what's going to happen to us. This is why, those of us that are in the truth, we have to do our best to, stay on the Lord's good side, because again, he can take us out at any time, man. And that's, the reason for this video, because again, the Lord, he ain't playing. And, he is to be feared. That's one of the main things, I know at least last year that Apostle Gabar was pushing heavily, man. We have to fear the Lord, man. Because when he brings out these horrific judgments, people tend to get in order. So I'm going to go back to the book of Deuteronomy. I'm going to chapter 28. In verse 66, man, because again, we're still suffering these curses, we're still suffering these curses. It says Deuteronomy 28 and 66, and it says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have no assurance of thy life, man. So we don't know what's going to happen to us, man. Excuse me, pretty much, this is how, we and even the people in the world live, and when I say, the people, I'm talking about Israelites, because the other nations, they're just living their lives, man. They aren't suffering the curses just yet, but they will, but, as for the Israelites, man, it says our lives shall hang in doubt. So, each day we wake up, and step outside, or even before we wake up, that's just one thing, that's on our minds. We could die today. The Lord could take us out at any time, because the Lord was angry with us, and he's still angry with 2/3, but, he's going to have mercy, on his remnant, on the elect, but this is a curse that we know that we're suffering as a nation, that, we don't know if we're going to live the next day, man, because the Lord, he's angry. It's like it says, I'm going to bring that up, man. So this is Psalms chapter 7 and verse 11. And it says, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day, man. And yeah, man, the Lord is angry at the wicked every day. Of course, the wicked Esau, Edom, the nation of Edom, the so-called white man, he's angry with them every day, but he is also angry with the wicked of our people as well, man. And this is what happens, when he gets tired of certain people of our nation, man. He takes them out, because as we know, a lot of our people are going to be cut off and they're going to die. And, the time to come, and the time of Jacob's trouble, but a lot of them are dying horrifically, even before that time, man. Because the Lord, sends down those death angels, to take out certain people, So again, we got to fear the Lord, man. And Jake wasn't living right at all. So the Lord got tired of looking at him, So I'm going to come to the book of Isaiah chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 4. And it says, it's like a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are going away backward. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointments. Yeah, man. This is going to be the case for a lot of our people, for 2/3, man. Because the Lord is pretty much saying, how long will you be stricken? Because he's telling you that, 2/3 are only going to get worse. So, they have to be put down, and be reset. They have to be reborn, because again, they're not going to come out of their wicked ways, man. And it's showing. And this is just one of many examples, man, because Jake, thinks that we're going to be in America forever, that there is nothing greater, than this place. Well, clearly, that's wrong. The kingdom of heaven is going to be the greatest thing this earth has ever seen, man. The earth is going to be at rest. Everything is going to be at peace again, man. We're in hell, serving under Esau Edom. But, our people think this is it, and it's not, So I'm going to jump to Isaiah chapter 50, 51. And verse 20, and it says, thy sons have fainted. They lie in wait at the head. It's like they lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of fury. They are full of the fury of the Lord. They rebuke. It's like says, thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy power. So yeah, man, what are a lot of, Israelites doing? They're in the streets, man. They're hanging on corners, they're selling drugs, gang banging, so on and so forth. And it says they're full of fury, man. So yeah, man, you got a lot of young angry Jakes out here, man. They're pretty much, menaces to society. And they are, man. And again, even though he was a talented young man, he was still wicked, man. So the Lord, probably got tired of him, doing his antics. So again, he took him out, So I'm going to go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse 8. It says, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again in the wild beaches. It's like the wild beasts shall change their places. And this is the point I want to bring out. And minstrels women shall bring forth monsters. And yeah, man, this is twofold, because you have women that will give, birth to a child, and that child may be, deformed, that baby may come out with a big head, missing limbs, or, may just come out messed up, But on the flip side, as we know, these women are bringing forth, these wicked young niggas out here, man, that are menaces to society, that pretty much have been raised in, single mother households, without a father, have only been raised by women. So they only go off of their emotions, instead of using logic. So, this Jake, he lost his mother and his father, so pretty much all he had was his siblings. So, I guess he turned to the streets. But either way, that's no excuse to, do wickedness, But again, his life was written the way it was written, man. That's how the Lord wanted him to go out. So that's how he went out, So I'm going to go to the book of Amos, chapter 7 and verse 17. And it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. And yeah, man, a lot of our people, young men and women, well, mainly young men and women, but of all ages, are dying by the sword. What is the modern sword? The gun, a lot of Jakes are dying by gun violence, either at the hands of other Jakes, these heathens, and, the police, and that's been something just really wasn't within the last decade, man. There's been a lot of, police killings on Israelite men and women, but it's only going to get worse, because the Lord is getting ready to unleash Esau, Edom, man. So violence is going to increase in this land, but, before this time comes, man, this is true. This is true. Israelite men and women are dying by the sword, every day. So I'm going to continue, and it says, and the land, it's like in thy land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in a polluted land, and Israel shall surely go into captivity of his land. Yeah, man. And America is a polluted land, man. If I'm wrong about that, a brother can correct me, but overall, America is a polluted land, and, again, we're in captivity here in Babylon, man. So I'm going to get Zechariah 13:8, and it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Yeah, man. 2/3 of our people, they're going to be cut off, because they're wicked, They refuse to, turn from their wicked ways, man. They refuse to come out of the ways of this world because, again, they think this is the end all be all, but that's not the case, man. The kingdom of heaven is on the way, but, these Jakes, they want it now. But, we can't have a kingdom in another man's kingdom, man. But just like it says, while Esau is going down, Jacob is going to be risen up, but they don't want to wait for it, man. So I'm going to get the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 25. And, I don't know exactly what went on, with that traffic stop. But again, man, just, like one of the brothers say, anytime we get stopped by the police or anything, just comply with what they say. Because at the end of the day, man, you just want to make it home safely. So this is Matthew 5 and 25, and it says, agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. And yeah, man, in that case, all Jake had to do was just, listen to the officer and get out the car, because as we know, man, if you're riding around without a license, they don't know who you are. You're pretty much riding around operating a vehicle illegally, But he also had, he was in possession of that machine gun. I'm just gonna say, man, he was in possession of that box. And again, if anyone is caught with that, man, they're automatically going to get 10 years in prison, But at the same time, once my cousin told me this, he sounded like, he was, not crying, but like he was, upset about it. Like me, wasn't close to this Jake. Like I said, he was talented, he could rap, but at the same time, he was wicked, man. He was wicked because he was, still in the streets heavily, and then the last time I seen him was about 2 or 3 years ago or something like that, man. I don't mix up with Jake that lives, these wicked lifestyles, man. I just go to work and I go home. But immediately once he told me that, I just said, wow, man. Immediately, I thought of judgment, because again, he was judged, man, for doing his wicked deeds. He's in his right mind now, he's good. If the Lord, has mercy on him, then he pretty much took him out before the time of Jacob's trouble, But ultimately, if, not, it's possible he could get sent back down here just to feel those missiles, man. But who knows? But either way it goes, man, when these people die, they're not innocent, man. So I'm just gonna bring in Job chapter 4 and verse 7. And it says, remember, I pray thee, whoever perish being innocent, or where will the righteous cut off? So yeah, man, when people die in these various ways, just remember that no one is innocent, man. Even us in this truth, man, because we've all done things that are worthy of death, man. But, Lord willing, the Lord is having mercy on us, because he's judging our people every day. Just like it says, the Lord is angry with the wicked every day. This is why we hear about, our people dying in these various ways, man, these various horrific ways, man, because he's angry with them, because they are wicked, man. No one is innocent. So, we can't act like we are because, it's like, I'm going to end it on this. Romans 3 and 23 says, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of Yahweh, man. So, we've all fell short. There's not one person on this earth today, that can say they're, 100% righteous. We're all wicked, but those of us that are, you know what, I'm going to grab that. This is Romans 7 and 24, and it says, "O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?" And yeah, man, Paul acknowledged that, he committed sin, man, and he didn't want to, because we're subject to sin, for being in these bodies, these bodies that we're in were made to go off. Hence the reason why we commit sin, but, what we should do is just try to offend less, but pretty much, I just wanted to bring this out, because again, this was somebody that I knew. Now, again, I wasn't close with him, but, I was only bringing this out for edification purposes, because again, it just shows you when you're not living your life correctly according to the scriptures, man, the Lord is bound to take you out eventually, man, however he sees fit. And that was, that young Jake's way of going out, being killed by the police. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakwadash. I like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I see you.